Hey, good afternoon. I'm Shane Griffin, Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce President. Unfortunately, Rebecca is not joining us today. She's got some connectivity issues, so I'm holding on to the reins here of this meeting. So we thank you very much for tuning in. We do this each and every Monday at 3:30. We have an opportunity to sit and chat with the Honorable Will Haynie, our mayor, and also Lauren Sims from the town of Mount Pleasant. And at this time, I will welcome in both of them, Mr. Mayor and Lauren. Hello there. Good to see you both.
Good to see you, Shane. Thanks for having us again. It's good to be back.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. It's a crazy weekend, of course. Hopefully you both got some rest. I know I did. A lot of things happening in the news, but the weekend is past and we're back here on Monday, back with another edition of Monday with the Mayor, and we're grateful to both of you for your time. We've got a number of topics to talk about. I took some notes and have about 4 or 5 items that I wanted to cover today. I'll get started with you, Mr. Mayor. Council meeting is tomorrow. I understand a very short agenda, one of the shortest that you can remember, but there is some information that folks should be aware of regarding flood damage prevention. This is something that passed in the first reading last month and coming back again at tomorrow's council meeting, correct?
Yeah, and this is, we try to keep this as a business focus since it is a Chamber of Commerce. If you're in the building business or the real estate or I guess even insurance, you'd want to know about this. When something comes up for first reading by law, and this would be an ordinance, at first reading, you cannot make amendments to it. You can make amendments at second reading. And so first reading passed, and you might have seen the local media said that we had raised the freeboard requirement on a house from 12 to 24 inches or doubled it effectively. However you measure that, and I don't want to get into the technicalities. So what we have done in the interim, knowing that we can make changes, is there are parts of this, and this is all done to be FEMA compliant, to keep all the things going that you need to keep your FEMA certification. There was some concern that we would create some non-conforming properties, but that happens every time FEMA says you got to make these changes. So we wouldn't be just doing that willy-nilly. But what our legal and our planning staff has done is they've separated these changes into 2 things. The ones we absolutely must have to maintain FEMA certification, and then the ones that we have some discretion over. So those will be broken into 2 pieces, and council, and I don't know what the will of council will be, will vote on those. So if you were uncomfortable with what you saw at first reading, take heart that there can be some changes. We've just got to have them come in. And I was just told about this, that they were able to kind of bifurcate this at my 2 o'clock meeting. So I have not seen the list. We will all see it tomorrow and have some time to think about it before we get in there to vote on it. Bottom line is we will pass what we need to pass to make sure Mount Pleasant is compliant with FEMA on this. What we will also do is discuss and take votes on taking out some of the things that that we have discretion over that may cause a little bit of heartburn. And I'm sorry that's a little bit vague, but the reality is it's a little bit vague.
Well, absolutely. And we thank you for that, because as you mentioned at before answering that question, we like to keep this content really skewed toward business and how it affects business. So that obviously is something that the council is taking up, and it will be on the agenda for tomorrow. What I also wanted to do, Mr. Mayor, we haven't talked a lot in recent episodes regarding the COVID numbers in our area. We did get some good news, of course, over the weekend. It looks like Pfizer has developed a vaccine that is 90% effective. That's very, very good news. I did also see some articles floating around on the web that once this vaccine is distributed, Britain is talking about being back to normal in spring. So this could be something where we see possibly a vaccine, finally, maybe some light at the end of the tunnel, but we still need to be cautious. We still need to be doing the things that we're supposed to be doing to ensure that ourselves, our families, our customers are safe. So I wanted to kind of get an idea from you, what our COVID numbers look like now, what they have looked like. Talk about the trend of that, because in Mount Pleasant, there are a number of retirement communities. And of course, that is the population, the segment of the population that can be adversely affected by that. And when you talk about those retirement communities, there's a logistics and also a cost impact to those communities as well. So just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that.
Be glad to. First, on the breaking news front, I heard a doctor on TV today saying that there had been some fear of the vaccine because vaccines normally contain a dead version of the virus. My understanding, based on what I heard today, is this does not even contain a dead version of the virus. It contains the protein that is produced by the virus. So, this whole thing, all of COVID has been so fraught with social media misinformation and politicization of it all. And I think we've had it all up to here. I'm really glad to hear there's a vaccine. But from what I heard today, if this is the Pfizer one, you will not even be getting the virus in your body, only the markers of the protein to which your immune system will learn how to build a defense. That's double good news to me. Now back to the bigger picture. I have yesterday's numbers. I did not get today's confirmed numbers, but our COVID numbers for South Carolina Sunday, there were 825 cases announced. We're now over 175,000, approaching 180,000. Today there were 586 new cases and 2 deaths. Sunday, the breakdown was that Greenville had the most with 120. Charleston was next. Charleston County was 67 new cases. The hospitalizations were 718. And why is this important? We know that we have seen these trends through the state, and they affect us because, let's face it, our region, so much comes and goes through this region. Greenville, I'm not sure why. I remember very clearly back in April, the I-95 corridor having a huge outbreak because of people driving down I-95. So what we see around the state often is reflected locally. And Lauren, I don't know if you have them. I was not able to get before we came on the air, as it were, Shane, or came on the web, the zip code breakdown for today. But the statewide hospitalizations, there were 184 patients in ICU, 89 on ventilators, and ICU beds used are at 76%. That's a number that we've learned in this to keep an eye on, because protecting the functionability of our healthcare infrastructure is something that government officials have to do. I mean, it's like keeping our roads open and keeping our water and sewer going. So that's an important number. One of the things I noticed is that our 30-day trend of the percent positive, it was 13.9. The 30-day average has been 11.9. So we're seeing a little bit of a spike. And the trend overall for 30 days is up. And so to put this in a business perspective, had a long conversation with the healthcare manager of one of our larger retirement communities in Mount Pleasant the other day. I think they have 200 employees, for the different shifts. When our county incident rate is over 5% by ordinance, by regulation, they have to test all of their workers. I believe it's 3 times a week. It's at least 2, it might be 3. They have to get the test, they have to administer the test, they have to document it, they have to spend the time doing the testing, then they have to get the results. At that time, our county rate was 5.1% of those tested. How frustrating that must be when you're trying to run a business. And as Lauren will tell you, our retirement communities are some of our larger employers. 200 by Mount Pleasant standards is a very large employer. So this is why, we keep mask ordinances, we keep social distancing. This is why the state keeps regulating large scale events and things like that. We're doing well. Nobody's, saying to panic. Nobody's saying gloom and doom. But since everybody has caught on to social distancing, and since you see more mask use than not, at least in the town of Mount Pleasant, those numbers have been getting better and better and better. And our county right now is in the moderate zone for new cases. If we can get it down to less than 50, we'll be in the low. At least we're not in the high where we were. Greenville is now back up in the high. So we want to keep at it. There are health implications that we all know of, but there are also business implications. So I appreciate everybody just sticking to it, and let's keep doing what we're doing. We've got the holidays to go through. We've got 2 of them coming up, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and if you count New Year's. So let's don't slack off. We're so close, and let's don't put all our hopes in a virus. I don't know what the plan is for in a vaccine. I don't know what the plan for the distribution of that vaccine would be. That's a 350 million people in this country. That's a lot. So let's just keep the little mask and 6 feet social distancing gives us power over this dadgum virus that I'm so tired of.
Oh, aren't we all? That's right. Keep doing the little things until we get to a point where, if you decide you want to take that vaccine, you do that, and then hopefully we start to see a downtrend in those numbers. And Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the holidays. It's what we call in the broadcast industry a beautiful segue. So I wanted to bring in Lauren Sims at this point to talk about the holidays, because Lauren's got her finger on the pulse of the business community, as does the mayor. And Lauren, I wanted to kind of get an idea from you about let's talk about the holiday market. Let's talk about the importance of shopping local, because as we get into the holidays, folks are going to obviously want to see family and relatives, but businesses are also going to want to see growth as well. So it really is important to think about shopping locally as we move into the holidays, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shane, for bringing that up. So we've talked previously about the town's participation in the Buy Local season campaign that's run through Low Country Local First. We are a proud partner, and you'll see banners and signs around the town of Mount Pleasant. And we're encouraging all of our business owners and our residents to pledge to spend at least 10% of their holiday budget on local products, to shop locally. Certainly our local businesses are facing some fierce competition more this year than ever before. It's hard sometimes to compete with the Targets and the Amazon with the Black Friday deals and the Cyber Mondays and all that sort of stuff. And this year, I know, for instance, Target has already launched their Black Friday deals online as a way to kind of boost sales up, knowing that the Black Friday shopping is not going to be as intense as it has in years past. So it's so important, more so than ever before, to support our local businesses and really think strategically. There's some great local businesses, things that offer different products. So just encourage you to go out to your local businesses and buy your holiday gifts from them. And we're attempting to help out a little bit with that. We have our holiday market on December 12th, it's Saturday, at the Farmers Market Pavilion on Coleman Boulevard. It'll run from 11 to 4 p.m. And so it's all local vendors. So we've got some food products, crafts, and gifts that are all available for purchase there. And all of those dollars stay right here in our community. The Buy Local campaign shares some really interesting statistics about the amount of money that stays in the community when you purchase local, as opposed to a very small percentage of it when you purchase from a national or international retailer. So very important to support that. And we're very excited that our holiday market is able to continue this year with social distancing and other safety protocols in place. And then we'll be following that up with the holiday Christmas light parade the next day. So that'll go down Coleman Boulevard, West Coleman, again this year. And the parade will start at 5:30. And if you're like me, going to the parade every year is a family tradition, something that we always look forward to. And we typically pack as many people into a small space as we possibly can.
Don't do that this year, Lauren. Don't do that.
It's going to look a little different. Yep. So just encouraging you to make your plans early and make sure you leave some space in between the folks next to you. We encourage you to wear masks while you're out, even though you're outside. There is going to be a lot of folks there. Everyone's very anxious to spread that holiday cheer. So just be careful when you're participating in these events and be sure to shop local.
Absolutely. Shop local. It's a big theme as we head into the holidays. Mr. Mayor, I wanted to get your perspective. Of course, the lovely Mrs. Haynie is an educator, and I know it's been a tough year for teachers this year. So if you're watching this or watching it at a later time and you're thinking about what could I do to help someone during the holiday season, it might be adopting a teacher or something of that nature, because it's been a tough year for teachers, right?
It has been. Y'all know Suzette's a veteran teacher, and she teaches 5th grade at Jenny Moore. And she just told me that she and the other teachers, that this is the hardest year they've ever had, which is understandable. You've got kids in a COVID environment, they're wearing masks, they've got the plexiglass up between their desks, there's social distancing, all that sounds like, yeah, well, what? But the adjustments, people being out, there are people who are quarantined, but not necessarily, self-quarantine like I had to do early on, but you never really have the virus. You just have to do it out of a precaution. There's all that going on. So it's a tough year, and teachers are pretty tired. They had the start of the school year, and then they had a second start when they brought in the students who were wait listed, who wanted in-class instruction. And now I think they're getting ready for the third group to come in, which is, I think they're going to start bringing just about everybody out. I think like in the 5th grade cohort at Jenny Moore, there will be one group that's online and everybody else will be in the classroom. So if you can, if you know a teacher or if you've got a child in a school, and this is just one, I'm sure high school maybe is a little better because the students are, able to take care of themselves a little better. But do something nice for a teacher this year. And I'm not begging for money or wine for my wife, though I wouldn't be ashamed if I was. But just as a morale booster, they are in a crowded room with 24 people all day, every day. And you try not to think about it, but I know that Suzette and I, because I'm in public buildings and, sort of semi-public events a lot, although as Lauren mentioned, public events ain't what they used to be. But since we both have sort of public lives right now or in public buildings, when we're home on the weekends and stuff, we don't go out much unless we can sit at the far end of a deck at a restaurant and support local business. So, the teachers have been doing that. They have been staying home more, and it affects the community. I'm sure the students are a little stressed by it. And I'm at that point where I think we all have COVID fatigue, and I'm concerned about morale. I'm concerned about the holidays, and I want to see our town get a boost. That's what I want.
Well, I'm with you because it's interesting when I saw that report today, and again, it's very early regarding the Pfizer vaccine, but when I saw that today, it was almost like I felt a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders. Like this could be the light. It's very distant and it's faint, but this could be the light at the end of the tunnel. Possibly it'll take some time to get through that process, but from what I read online, it sounds very very promising. So any hint of good news regarding COVID is welcome, because it just gives you that immediate, oh, thankfully we might be turning the corner. But again, we don't know, but at least good news helps. Positivity helps kind of keep you focused and moving forward, as I like to say.
Yes.
Well, that's all I have for today, Mr. Mayor and Lauren. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask Mr. Mayor that you've got something you're working on that we can't really talk about, but I'll bring it up as a teaser because it's still in the works. But
tried to tee it up for you there, and you hit it out of the park. That's great. That's a mixed metaphor. So you hit it down the range.
My first ball was in the fairway, right? My first ball was in the fairway.
And our town staff is very busy with the parade and with the holiday market and just all the things that it takes to keep the town going and all the normal things. So just as me, without town staff, Lauren is in on it a little bit because she's on the board of the chamber. But I've been working with our large institutions, our large healthcare institutions, our large human services, nonprofits who you all know and love. But we'll be making an announcement in the not too distant future. We're going to have some spirit lifting things around the community to show the spirit of Mount Pleasant, especially to 3 areas of our population that I think have really paid the physical and mental price for all we've been through with COVID. Some of this will center on giving some financial help to those that need it. And the other is to just give a good old Christmas boost to people at Christmas time. So thanks for the opportunity to say that. Stand by. We'll have an announcement at least within a week, maybe a little sooner. And we're going to get a chance to show that Mount Pleasant spirit and how we care for each other. And I appreciate the lead into that, Shane. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we as the chamber are excited to support that in any way. So I've been on a few of those discussions, and it's going to be very exciting. So I'll leave it at that. Any parting words from you, Mr. Mayor, before we let you go?
I do want to mention something, having been through 3 elections myself as a candidate and all of that. I think we all had some campaign and election fatigue. And, it's a beautiful thing. I told my wife, I love an election day almost as much as I love Thanksgiving and Christmas, to see people going out and voting and exercising that right that people, we have Patriots Point over here. We have shrines to people who have given their life to give us that. And all of our candidates don't always win, but regardless of whether your candidate won or lost, it's still America. You're still the voter. You have the power. And I remind myself every day. I was in town hall today. Y'all are the ones who decide who you send to town hall or county hall or the state house or the Capitol or the White House. And we came together as Americans. It was so great to see that big turnout. And I just hope we sort of settle down now, even though, we don't know what's over and what's not over. We're still America. Our government is still stable, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Well, I was talking to somebody today, America is that bright, shining light on a hill that no other country can touch. We are blessed for all of the blessings that we do have. Yes, we have our problems, and yes, we have our issues, but at the end of the day, still the greatest country on the face of the earth. And we're just lucky to be a part of it. We're lucky to have been born in this generation at this time. There's a gentleman by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V is a motivational speaker, and he actually breaks down the odds of you being born at the time you were born in this country. And it'll blow your mind how what the odds are of you being an American in 2020. Now, some people may not agree with that or may have issue with that. But if you look at the scope of the world and what this world has gone through from its inception, we are very lucky to be doing this right now, us 3 and the folks that are watching us, because the odds of us being born right now are in the trillions. And so, yes, we need to remember that. I didn't mean to get off on a tangent on that, but yeah, it's America is a great story. It always has been, and it always will be. That's for sure.
Yep. And this has been a rough year. It's been rough emotionally. It's been rough physically. It's been rough financially. And my wife encouraged me to start something every day. Just write down a little list of blessings that I know I have. And it changes. It's the simplest little thing, but it really changes your mindset. One of them is I did a tour of Water Mission International last week. And I've been familiar with them for years. They've been around 20 years, but I'd never actually toured and seen what they do. Do you know that 4.1 billion people on this planet do not have a reliable source of clean drinking water every day? 4 billion people. When's the last time we worried about turning on the tap and wondering what was going to come out? We don't have those problems. So yes, we have some rancorous elections and everything, but Shane, to your point, we have an awful lot to be thankful for.
Absolutely. Lauren, any parting words from you? Did you want to jump in on this caravan here?
That was so inspirational, and I love it. I mean, it's so great. I'm sorry to kind of circle things back to a different subject after that, but it was one thing I forgot to mention in my comments earlier, which is directed towards our businesses, which is to help folks shop at your place of business, and that is through an online presence. If you don't have a mechanism in place for folks to be able to purchase products and services online, you are missing revenue. That is a fact. So please, 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 there are some great folks involved with the chamber that can help you get set up. If you need help setting up an online procurement system. So please just make sure that you're doing that and make it readily available. Have your list of services, everything available online, because if folks can't find it online, they're gonna move on to somebody else that has it readily available. So just help others help you is what I guess the short of it.
Thank you, Lauren, for that. And if those that are watching either live or recorded, if you want to send an email to Rebecca, so her email is rebecca@mountpleasantchamber.org, rebecca@mountpleasantchamber.org. She will be happy to help you get that set up. So Lauren, thank you for that. Thank you for your time today. Mr. Mayor, always great to see you. As always, stay healthy, be safe, keep moving forward, be positive and test negative. And did I get them all? Okay. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.